Hey, you guys. So, I am wanting to discuss a case with you all today. Um, Unfortunately, this is a case that I feel like has not gotten the media coverage that it needs and deserves. Um, it's weighed really heavy on my mind and on my heart since I learned about it. It's really confusing. I will probably have to do two parts because there's just so much going on here, and I feel like there was so much that the authorities could have done to have prevented this from happening to this person. So, this is the case of 19-year-old Jason Diego Abarca. So, on December the 13th, 2023, 19-year-old Jason Diego Abarca was last seen alive after a long series of events that occurred in Winchester, Virginia. According to law enforcement's reports, after Jason crashed his mom's rental car, he was involved in an alleged carjacking incident and crashed that vehicle into a ditch along Star Tannery Road. Then, after crashing the allegedly stolen vehicle into the ditch, he fled on foot. For months after this, Jason's family searched for him and urged the authorities to please find him. They made the authorities aware that they believed that Jason was experiencing a mental health crisis during that time, and that they also believed that he may have taken more than his prescribed dose of Adderall before leaving the house that day. And this is all following the tragic, unexpected death of Jason's brother Corey, who was in the Army and experiencing bullying back at his base. And ultimately, he took his own life, and this was extremely hard on Jason. And in my opinion, during this time that Jason was missing, because it did not take long for his mother to report him as a missing person, his family was not treated right by the authorities. Now, this is just my opinion. I feel like they treated these people like criminals themselves. They supposedly went out to some of Jason's family's homes. I believe that the authorities thought that they was just hiding Jason out. But they also, instead of letting the public know that Jason was a missing person, they posted this. This is a wanted fugitive flyer. And the comments that was underneath this were absolutely appalling. The first search effort from law enforcement for Jason was like 3 weeks after he went missing. And they did a 25% radius search, but instead of going in a perfect circle, they went off to the left, and that day they found nothing. They also had a K9 out there who did pick up Jason's scent, but eventually lost it. During this time, drones was also being flown in the area in an effort to find Jason, and they did not see anything. Jason's family would also go out and help aid in the search. But while they were out searching, law enforcement and the property owners would kind of like dictate the areas that they were allowed to search and the areas that they were permitted to be in. A body believed to be Jason's was discovered on April the 29th, 2024 during the second search effort. This is months after Jason went missing. And believe it or not, his body was actually discovered in an area that his family says that they were not permitted to search. So the body was discovered in a densely wooded area near Frederick County, Virginia, along Star Tannery Road. This is like roughly 1,200 feet from the crash site. So during the initial search, had they have actually went in a perfect circle during the 25% radius search, he would have been found then. And the drones that had been out actually had flew through that area but didn't pick up anything. So it does raise the question, did they just, simply miss Jason and not see him there? Or was he actually there from December to April? A couple weeks later, the remains were identified as belonging to 19-year-old Jason Diego Abarca. And this right here is a sketch of how he was found. And I just have so many questions. It blows me away. So Jason was found hanging upside down from a tree with his foot wedged in the V of the tree. So it's like his foot got stuck in the tree and he was just hanging from the tree upside down by his foot. Okay? What doesn't make any sense to me about this is, how does a young, athletic, healthy, physically fit, physically capable person such as Jason become so stuck in the V of this tree that he is unable to get out and is just so stuck that ultimately it causes his death? It seems like he would have eventually wiggled his way out of there. It don't make any sense to me. Also, his jacket, his blue North Face jacket, was laying below him, and it was just there as if it had been perfectly placed there. He was missing one shoe, one sock. They searched the area. They was never able to find it, and this is a very small area, okay? Jason also had a skull fracture, but no brain bleed. Obviously decomposition had set in, but according to his family, he was still like 75% intact. You could still see his tattoos and just, a lot of his features. He was mostly there. And still to this day, the medical examiner has not publicly released a cause of death or a manner of death in Jason's case, aside from it being undetermined, which still, leaves room to question, because if it's undetermined, you can't really rule out foul play. There are just so many aspects of this case that remain confusing and unexplained, and I'm with the family on this. I believe that if authorities had prioritized a more comprehensive search effort sooner, there is a very likely possibility that Jason could have been found alive. I'm really concerned about the delay in search efforts, and I'm also concerned about the lack of footage. There was no body cam or dash cam footage from the incident where Jason crashed the car. And look at this car. According to the authorities, he ran into a ditch, forward facing. So, and they assured the family that nobody had hit Jason from behind. So why is there so much rear end damage? I'm just going to leave this picture here, and you guys tell me what you all think. How could this rear end damage have occurred if he went in the ditch forward? On top of there being a lack of body cam footage and dash cam footage from the incident, and despite there being signs posted all over that area saying, like, warning, you're under surveillance, according to the family, all of that footage was unavailable because the cameras had been removed. I feel like the absence of visual footage fuels questions about what really happened that day. I would also like to remind you guys that during this incident, Jason, it was reported that Jason was being chased by a combination of law enforcement and locals, but none of those locals were ever questioned to my knowledge. So, I have so many questions about this case. I am going to be making a part 2. If anybody from Jason's family would like to reach out to me, I would like to get more information and cover this more and try to get Jason's name out there, because I do believe this case needs a second look. I'm not saying that foul play was involved in this, but at this point, who could rule it out? I would also like to respectfully give my condolences to Jason's family. And if you guys would like to help them, you can do so on change.org. I will be back with a part 2, because we're going to be doing a deep dive, because there's just so much information that I missed. I've got like 3 pages of information written down, and it's wild. Like, I have so much more to talk about.